moments when I have meltdowns like this one where I want to just die. I just want to die. I don't want to feel this way anymore.
You know, it wasn't always that way. I never felt that way before. I lived a vibrant life. I was very active. I loved going hiking, running the trails, being silly. And just being me. I enjoyed my family and the times that we got to be together. I was a public figure, and everyone that saw me saw the joy in my face. There were so many happy moments. Until the morning of March 23rd, 2017. Let's fast forward a little bit because I don't remember a whole lot about things that have happened after I got hit in the face with the Frisbee. Emotional, feeling irritated, feeling dizzy, headaches. Oh my gosh, so many headaches every single day. My face was super swollen for about 3 days, and my symptoms really didn't start coming on until Monday after returning to work. I thought all was fine, and I tried to jump back in like nothing happened, and things got worse from there. But I kept teaching. I kept doing what I do. And every time I would try to push through, again, super dizzy, nauseated, very irritated with people around me. I became withdrawn, depressed. I did not want to collaborate with anyone. I just wanted to be by myself. I couldn't even talk to my mom on the phone. I just wanted to be left alone. It was about week 2 after the incident when I decided to go to the ER. And I had to take myself. It was after my last evening class at about 9:30 p.m. I drove down to the emergency room and sat in the waiting room for maybe 5 minutes. It wasn't too bad before taken back. And after a CT and taking a look at all of my symptoms, they told me I had a concussion. And 2 of my boys already went through a concussion, so I knew somewhat what it would be like, but I never experienced it myself. I was always helping them overcome their symptoms, not my own. And so I, again, tried to take some rest, set up a follow-up appointment with my doctor, and I think it was maybe 3 days after that I got in to see him, and Dr. Harris, sport medicine guy, he tried to do a few tests with me. I remember him taking a couple pieces of paper that had letters and numbers on them, and he wanted me to play like connect the dots with it. It sounds simple, but I couldn't even finish the dots. He wanted me to connect like A1, B2, and so on and so forth. I ended up crying and told him I can't do it. So very, very emotional. In fact, I remember my neck hurting so bad. It was so stiff that I laid down on the couch and I asked Kevin to rub my neck. And he sat in front of me, looking me right in the face, and I just looked at him and started crying. For no reason, just crying. I cried a lot over the next couple of weeks. And then those symptoms subsided. I felt like I was getting well again. Probably somewhere around week 3. And once again, I tried to go back into work, thinking I could handle it all. In fact, I even talked to one of my coworkers the night before, teaching a late class, and I hadn't wanted to talk to anyone in so long. I felt I was making extreme progress. But when I had returned to work the next morning, I once again started getting a headache, and I couldn't think very clearly, and I became really irritated, especially with one of my coworkers who wanted to stop by just to see how I was doing. I was not a very nice person. I'm still not, because I'm still having some symptoms of post-concussion, but things are getting better. Things are starting to look a little more clear. I remember bits and pieces of the last module that I taught, but not to the full extent. And if I were to go back and look at some of my grading and look at some of my messages, I don't remember sending them. And I remember having a few sessions with students to help them out. Again, I was going full force, not allowing my brain to rest. And I finally said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't be Superwoman. And all of this came from my first PT session. That first PT session was on April 18th. It was referred by Dr. Harris, my doctor, and my dizziness, my balance was just so off that he thought I needed vestibular work. So off to PT I went, and she had me do a lot of those tests too. Those tests were not fun for me in my head. I already had a headache going into the session. And while she was just assessing me, using small little things to test my balance, to test this or that, like, it kept getting worse. My headache became worse throughout the day. One of the tests, I remember she had me stand in front of the wall, And it was a blank wall. There was nothing on it. My hands crisscrossed in front of my body, and stood right in front of this table with my eyes open. And I remember telling her, "Whoa, make that wall stop moving." That's how bad my dizziness has been, about the extent of it. There's times when I'm driving, and mind you, the whole 5 weeks, it's been about 5 weeks since the injury, I've been driving very cautiously. It's been quite scary a few times, especially driving home late at night from work. But I don't remember the drives. I remember making that drive. I just don't remember anything about it. So my memory isn't quite there either. But after PT, I started to get really emotional because my head was really bothering me again. And I remember taking a walk that day just around the neighborhood and trying to clear some of that out of my head. That didn't really help. It made it worse. I started feeling nauseated, and I became very irritated. So I called the doctor and bumped up my appointment, another follow-up appointment, to the next day. And I remember sitting in the waiting room, waiting for my name to be called. And if you're in any kind of doctor's office, man, you know there are all kinds that come in there. You know, if a dad and a daughter came in and they were having small talk with each other, and they decided to sit right next to me, and I just remember wanting to yell, "Shut up." People walking by in flip-flops, and every flip-flop there was, I wanted to punch somebody out. They got me back there, and I was running a fever. Of course, my blood pressure was up because I was fuming. I was so irritated, and they had to do the exam with the lights off. And this was last week. The doctor noticed that things were getting worse because of PT, and he had referred me out to the Post-Concussion Center in Phoenix. Friday, the 21st of April, here we are 4 weeks post-trauma, and I was having a good day. I was still very irritated, but I was feeling pretty good. I had a little bit of a headache that morning, but PT canceled because my symptoms were still there, and it would have made it worse. I went about my day. I had a meeting online. I received an award which shot my blood pressure through the roof. My nerves. I'm just very nervous sometimes, and over things that I typically wouldn't get nervous about. I would have several anxiety attacks right before class. I would start a class and feel just like butterflies all throughout my stomach. And then that evening, on Friday evening, the kids had their spring spectacular at Schnapp Farms. And while I had experienced extreme irritability the day before, I was very nervous about going and being around people and rides. Oh my goodness, the rides. I missed out on so many things. Even that night at the carnival or the spectacular, I couldn't even watch my kids ride things because it would make me dizzy and then nauseated, and then I couldn't function the rest of the night, so I had to turn my back. And in previous weeks, like I said, I don't remember anything. I can't recall one thing that I did with my kids. You know, what's been extremely hard is really, I've been doing this all by myself. I really don't know how much more of the recovery that I can take. Look, things are starting to become a little more clear now, which is why I'm able to document it all. But I've been having extreme vivid dreams. I mean, so real. Like everything, I couldn't tell you what they were about because I forget them. Everything is just gone with my memory. But I remember waking up from them thinking I was like living it. Like it just happened. Until I realized, you know what, I've been laying in bed this whole time. It couldn't have happened. So it's very strange to have such real dreams that I've never had before. And I also wake up feeling very dizzy. Like I have a hard time focusing my eyes as soon as I wake up. And things seem to be moving quite quickly around the room, so I have to take my time getting up out of bed. But I feel like I am making progress since Friday. That Friday was my last headache. It was the 21st of April. Today is the 24th, and I still have no headache. Crossing fingers. I know that anything could bring it on. Now, I was supposed to have PT this morning, and I put it off because I knew that it would set me back. But I go back on Friday, and I go back to work on Thursday. Very slowly, but I will be going back to work. So if I remember anything else to document, I will do so. Quite interesting, the process and what your brain really goes through. But I try not to remember too much. Too much at a time will cause my headaches to flare up. And I've noticed that, like, I can try to remember. It just doesn't come, so I quit trying. So I just took a trip to Walgreens to find some oils, and I am extremely nauseated and dizzy. So, may not be taking a walk today. I felt really good until I got out, so I probably should just rest and put some oils in my diffuser and just relax. So much for a relaxing day. You hear this shit? I don't know what that is, so I'm going for a walk just to get out of here. I can't listen to that anymore. It's everywhere. Like, I go outside, it's there. No. Today is Friday, April 28th, and yesterday was my first day back to work. But I stayed at home because I knew it would be too much. I did get dressed, I took a shower, I was ready to go, and then I started having a panic attack, an anxiety attack, like I never taught before, and I decided to stay home. I had meetings in between my classes, and I was really okay until my third class, and I started to have bouts of forgetfulness and not remembering what I was saying. And I had a really difficult time with my very last class. It ended at 9:30, actually way later than that because I got kept late by students, but today I'm paying for it, and I'm very emotional. Like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm having an anxiety attack right now. I'm feeling very shaky, very weak. My head isn't full-blown headache, but I know that I've got a couple of twinges in there every once in a while. I'm very dizzy. I woke up with another vivid dream. I don't want to do this for another 5 weeks. And I go to my appointment on Monday really scared that it's gonna get worse way before it gets better, and that scares the crap out of me. I don't know what to do. April 29th, it is Saturday, and I woke up feeling refreshed again. Hate having setbacks like that. Yesterday was really bad. Very emotional, very dizzy, and then trying to deal with kids and everything was just too much yesterday. I laid down probably around 8:40, very dizzy, nauseated. It was hard to go to sleep, but I got to sleep until about 6 this morning, so that was a great thing for me. I needed that, and like I said, I feel much better today. We're supposed to have a company picnic today, but I am not going. It's in Scottsdale, which is too far for me, for one, and for two, I'm not ready to be around people, obviously. But I do have to take Kiefer to get his physical today and for football, and then take his shoes back to try to get a different size. But so far so good. I'm going to try to relax the rest of the day. Just those two things going on. And yeah, so far so good. Still April 29th, and we just got back from doing the concussion, or I can't even think right now. We got back from doing Kiefer's physical and going to get his shoes fixed, and I'm feeling confused, obviously. I got dizzy while I was standing there around a bunch of people waiting in line for his tests, and I don't remember doing certain things, and I had to keep asking Kiefer, did I do that? make sure you check this form because I don't know if it's right. Anxiety attacks. Hit him so hard in the face. Like I really do. I'm sitting outside right now trying to relax. It's about 3 o'clock. And I don't know, I can feel my emotions going through the roof. But sitting out here by myself trying to control them totally sucks that I can't be around my own family. They irritate me. So it's been a few days since I recorded anything, but I went to the Post-Concussion Center on Monday, and I need vision screening, neuropsychology, and vestibular therapy. He said that my emotional stress is keeping me from healing completely, and I'm having to teach and work from home this week. I tried yesterday. I went in yesterday and I couldn't do it. I was there for 2 hours and wanted to punch someone, so I had to leave. And today, definitely paying for all night teaching. My head is pounding. I'm sitting out here trying to rest, and it's just non-stop. So of course that makes me emotional, but such is my life. So here we are, May 7th, and I had my vision test on Friday, and it didn't go very well. She gave me some exercises to do at home, but she also restricted me from doing any computer work, which is everything I do at work. So Nick took PTO on Friday, so I couldn't say anything then, and I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. I'm just completely lost. I'm depressed. I'm very scared I'm gonna lose my job, and Kevin is no help whatsoever. Tomorrow I have vestibular therapy at 4 o'clock, and I have to take myself so he can pick up the kids and then go sell the camper. Priorities, right? Then I have to pick up the kids from football practice, so it's too much. I am by myself in this whole thing, by myself. This weekend, Kiefer went to Disneyland and Chase went to Grandma's, but we didn't really spend much time together, and then we went over to the neighbor's house, which got me super dizzy. Like, I don't know. Monday, I went through vestibular therapy, and it wiped me out completely. I felt like I went backwards. I had a headache again, very irritable. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Every noise bugged me. It was pretty bad. I went to bed, I think, about 8 o'clock that night. And then I had class Tuesday. Woke up with a headache because of the therapy, and couldn't really concentrate and focus like I wanted to. I felt like I really gave a bad performance during class, but I don't really remember it. Wednesday, I went to the neuropsychologist and once again put through they put me through so many tests. One on the computer, which I just wanted to hit somebody after I was done. I guessed at most things on the test, and I don't feel that I did very well on my testing with her, but I'll find out my results of that test on Tuesday when I go back to see her and Dr. Erickson. This Thursday, I have more vestibular therapy. I noticed that now when I have dizzy spells, they usually happen when I first wake up instead of when I first lay down, so I have to be slow at getting up. But with all of this happening, obviously it makes it hard for me to work, so I have ended up having to take FMLA and apply for short-term disability. I don't know if I'll be approved, but here's hoping. So I'm taking 2 weeks off from everything, and all of my classes are being dispersed, and Wednesday hit pretty hard for me. I cried a lot on Wednesday, and just very emotional about leaving work for 2 weeks and not being able to finish this module. The neuropsychologist suggested on Wednesday that it could take longer for me to fully recover. So, like I said, we'll see on Tuesday what happens. If it's suggested that I take longer, then I don't know what I'm going to do. So, I'm going to use this time to try to find myself again, because I had to force myself a few days to get out of the house and go for a walk. Normally that would be like number one thing that I would do, but I have no desire to do anything, and I've had suicidal thoughts where I'd be out walking and I see a car coming and I want to step in front of it. I have thoughts of what if I get in an accident? I am super depressed, and I just hope that these 2 weeks being here by myself don't make that worse for me. So yesterday I picked up knitting again, which I haven't done since I was a little girl, and it calmed me down and kept me busy for a little while, but I can only do so much of that before I get tired and just don't want to do it anymore. So here's hoping to a better couple of weeks, and we'll see. Every day is a fucking mistake. So it's about time I did a update. I see the last time I said anything was on the 16th. I don't remember what I said last, but on Wednesday of last week, oh my gosh, I felt so amazing. I felt alive. I had bought some painting things on Tuesday, so the day before, and I bought a canvas, a small one, and some oils to pick up painting. I haven't painted since my dad's father, Papa, taught me how to paint. Of course, I don't remember anything from then, but I got out there outside, set up a little space for myself, and Wednesday I just went to town and I started painting, and it relieved so much stress. I felt so alive and amazing, and so I got to a stopping point with my painting. I had to let it dry, and I went hiking. For once, I went hiking, and I haven't even had the desire to want to go. It was amazing, the most amazing feeling ever. But then again, on Thursday, the following day, I had vestibular therapy, and I felt great during the first part of therapy. They had me doing a lot of balance stuff and just standing there trying to balance, and then they put me on a foam, and then they put me on a wobble board, and some of those movements on the wobble board made me very nauseated. I had to sit down and rest for a bit. I started to get a headache, and so I started to not feel so good, but it was early in the morning, and I felt somewhat okay for the remainder of the day. And then it seems like when the dust settled, like the kids got home from everything, I just crashed. And it wiped me out for another 2 days, I would say. But I did have my appointment with the doctor on the 16th. I think that was my last day to record. I have been restricted for another week. I'm still waiting to hear back from my short-term disability, whether I was approved or not. If I was, I should start seeing benefits on next Monday on the 29th. But so I'm restricted from work for another week. I have to go back and visit him on the 6th, as well as see Dr. Amin, my eye doctor there at the Post-Concussion Center, to follow up and make sure that my vision changes are getting better. I feel like they are. I truthfully haven't been doing all of my exercises the way that I should have, but I'm starting to now because I'm starting to care. But while I was also at that visit, I saw the neuropsychologist, and because of my mood and how I rated everything in my testing, I really have a severe depression issue going on. And so they suggested talk therapy, which I'm not completely opposed to. I'm not really emotional about it, even though that's what I majored in. I know it's a necessary because I need to get me back. All I can think about every day is, how am I going to go back to work? How am I going to deal with people again? I mean, people get on my nerves, like instantly. I don't know how I'm going to do it unless I go talk to someone. So this week, my goal is to call around. I got a list from her of a couple of people that are fairly close to us, and I'm going to go talk to somebody. Because I can talk to Kevin all day long, but he still doesn't understand what I'm going through, and it's like talking to a wall anyway, so it's not much therapy there. So, as you can tell, though, my attitude is a little bit different. I see some light to the end of the tunnel, still not completely clear, but I do feel better, and so vestibular therapy happened on Thursday. Today is Sunday. I'm just now starting to feel a little bit better. Yesterday was pretty rough too. And it didn't matter what I ate. It was a Thursday right after therapy. Anything I ate made me very sick to my stomach. I can't throw up anything. So just stayed nauseated the whole entire night. And so I'm really looking forward to vestibular therapy this week because it always knocks me out. Bleh. I don't like it, but I know it's helping because I'm able to hold my balance a little bit better when I go, because by the time I go, I've recouped a little bit. So every day is a new day for me. I wake up with with different attitudes all the time. Sometimes I wake up with a piss on you attitude, but sometimes I feel like I can take on the world, and tomorrow everybody goes back to school and work, and I'll be here by myself. So I bought some paint by numbers, and so I might give it a whirl tomorrow. I don't know, it's kind of intimidating looking at all those numbers. But it does soothe my mind. It calms me down, so I may work on that tomorrow. But that's the update. See, life events still carried on. I tried to be there for my kids. I missed Easter. I don't remember this. My son was going to California.
Tom the tiger is big, like a terrifying.
I even attended a school event, which was very difficult for me. During that time, I thought I would try painting, get my mind off of things. And then Kiefer had his 8th grade promotion. What has it been like living with me going through my post-concussion?
I don't know how to compare it to anything. It's pretty hard. Like you're dealing with another person.
Like how so?
Like you become somebody you're not.
Example.
Well, I don't know. You've lost. Like you say, you lose what you want to do, but you're still the same person, so physically, I don't know. It kind of puts like a damper on everything. It seems like it took things away that you worked hard to get, I guess. Not that it said he made you dumber, but I guess it just seemed like you're progressing more before it happened, I guess, and now you're not. Like, it kind of went backwards. How I've been dealing with it is just trying to forget about the bad days and just continue on, because I know what's down deep is what matters. So just be on the lookout for flying objects coming at you.
Being with my mom through this recovery process has been a journey that has not been very fun because she's been confused a lot, so we've had to help her, and her snapping at us a lot has not been the greatest, but we've gotten through it, I guess.
And here we are today. I am still recovering, still going through vestibular therapy, still having bouts of dizziness, still having headaches every once in a while. I'm still in that process of recovering, but mentally I am in a much better place. Having a concussion and trying to get people to understand what you're going through is like, it's the worst ever, because let's say you break your arm, okay? You can see it. You've got a cast on. You've got something to show for it. But when you're dealing with a concussion, nobody can see inside the brain, and nobody can really fully understand what you are going through. And so it was very difficult to try to explain that to people, or have them show some understanding to what you're going through. It was it was an emotional roller coaster, and there are still days that are like that. Again, not so bad as it was, but I am finally back at work and taking it easy, because I am still restricted, but I'm getting there. You know, I always thought, you know, why can't people change for me? I thought, I'm this way, they need to change. They need to change their way of thinking and how they do things. But really, it came down to me. I'm the one that changed, and I'm the one that needs to continue to make changes and progress. So my hope in sharing this whole documentary with you guys is that it helps someone else who may be going through something very similar. Maybe it's not concussion, but a deep, dark place like depression. I know how debilitating it is, where you don't want to even get out of bed in the morning, and when you don't feel like doing the things that you absolutely love to do. You feel like all of that is stripped of you, and I know that feeling. You feel like you're alone, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is. And while it seems like there isn't at the time, you have to keep pushing through. You just have to. And I can't tell you how important the support is to recovery of anything, whether it be depression, whether it be an eating disorder, whether it be just something major going on in your life, not just head trauma. Support is so, so, so important. And I really didn't feel like I got the support that I needed. And I honestly could not tell you what pulled me out of that deep, dark state. I have no idea. All I know is that I'm here now to share this story, and hopefully it has helped someone out there in the world. Look, concussions don't just happen to male athletes, and they don't just happen in sports. It can be from a car crash and that whiplash of the head, any sudden movement to the head. I am so thankful that I am still able to share this story with you, and I hope that something can be taken away from this whole thing. I'm thankful that I'm still here. I have so much more in life to share with everyone else, and that is my purpose.